The story of exploitation of migrant domestic workers in the country is not new. The idea of a foreign country promising a better life comes crashing down when lack of information, inconsiderate sponsors, and ineffective labor laws reduces them to mere hostages living in a domestic environment. These domestic helpers not just endure physical abuse, but the dismal work conditions have driven many to the verge of depression and even suicide. The Migrant Workers Protection Society is a voluntary organization that looks into such cases and rescues and rehabilitates such workers.
Since 2012, when Bahrain introduced Law 36, the new labour law, domestic workers were included for the first time. However, they're not included in all the articles. They're specifically excluded from the articles on the hours of work and rest periods, which is quite an important omission. Last year we had 156 women staying in our shelter. None of the women reported having a day off.
A recent case that came to them was that of a minor Ethiopian girl who, according to her passport, was 25 years old and worked over 17 hours a day without sufficient food or rest. One day she managed to run away from the house, helped by a fellow domestic worker. Eski Gurmi at MWPS gave her shelter in her own home.
We actually got a call from a neighbor of the employee who is Bahraini, who hid her until we arrived to their house and rescue her and take her to the police station to make a case. This girl was beaten up. She used to get beaten up every day. We managed to settle the case with the employer with the help of the police station and the officer who actually supported the case. The girl is back home and she's joining school soon.
This is not the only story of injustice and lack of basic human values in our homes. Another horrific case was that of a girl working 22 hours a day who was later hospitalized for asthma and exhaustion.
She was working as a housemaid on a full-time basis, plus working for the sponsor's wife's catering company. And so she had complained that she felt ill, not surprisingly. The sponsors had not agreed to take her to hospital, and in the end she felt that she had no choice but to leave because she felt so ill. And once she did get to hospital by herself, she was kept in hospital for 10 days and treated for exhaustion and asthma.
The sponsor is totally responsible to get the documentation done within 4 weeks. But so often we are finding that those residence permits are not stamped. If at all the CPR is made, we can't see why the sponsors cannot give a copy of that CPR to the... It shouldn't be the copy, it should be the original, because it, like a passport, it belongs to the person whose name appears on the CPR. But here we are finding that they don't even have a copy of a CPR, which again leads to hundreds of problems.
The MWPS is relentlessly trying to get justice for the rescued workers. However, the obstacles are many and there are frequent moments of despair.
We very rarely get justice for the people with whom we deal. I think we do succeed in making things better than they otherwise would be for quite a lot of individual cases. And I think that some officials in authority do listen to some of the recommendations that we make. And so I suppose we're motivated by the hope and the desire that things will improve.
For us, it's also rewarding because if you think of the girl, and after some time she could end up having committing suicide because she doesn't know we exist, she doesn't know there is a law in Bahrain, or she doesn't know she could be protected, and she doesn't know where to go. In any case, we can say we are successful when at least they can go home and join their family.
The determination of these women have made a difference to the lives of those trapped in inhuman conditions and too scared to even think of a better future. With Simi Kamboj, this is Ankita Mamkai for Women This Month.